Hello and welcome to Hooghalen here in the Netherlands. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take you on a trip to Camp Westerbork here in Hooghalen. Now, I didn't know this camp even existed. And what this camp was, it was a camp of refuge really for the Jews fleeing from the Nazi terror that they were reigning all across Europe. But little did they know that in 1940, when Germany took over, this camp here, the Camp of Hope, really became Camp of Terror. And we want to take you through this, and we're going to look at it together. And let's see Camp Westerbork. Along this path here, I'm not going to show you them all. There's monuments just like this. There's 34 of them here. Each one has a different placard on it, talking about a specific day and the amount of individuals or Jews that were removed from this camp, such as this one here on the 11th of May in 1943, Sobibor. They took 1,446 Jews to that camp. You know, what we're learning a lot now is that there were so many more camps that we just didn't know about. I believe, if I looked it up correctly, there was some 30 to 40,000 different camps. You know, when I think of camps as growing up as learning in school, you know, we think of concentration camps. But there was more than just a concentration camp. There were POW camps. There were work camps. There were killing camps. A number of them, they were spread out throughout Europe where Jewish individuals were brought to, and so many of them died. So we're going to walk down the path, and then we're also going to go visit the camp. So as we walk down this path here, just as a reference, from May 11th, 1943 to June 1st, 1943, 9,825 Jews were removed from Westerbork to Sobibor, which was an extermination camp. That's just in that a month's period of time. So when you're here and visiting Westerbork, you have to come down and you've got to walk this pathway of monuments. Not only do you have Sobibor, where they were sent to, obviously Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen. You also have Marienstadt, Buchenwald, Ravensbrück, Weitel. All right, so what we did is we went ahead and got our tickets to Westerbork, and so we're going to take a tour around. We take a tram that comes out here to the field, and now we're going to show you some of the sites of this camp, which we didn't really know was out here. We thought it was just going to be a small museum, but we're going to take a look around. So the first thing you're going to see when you get off the shuttle from the visitor center, they're going to get dropped off right out here. This is the commandant's house. And so just before the commandant's house, you're going to see these 5 coffin type structures here. And each one of these structures represents a camp that the Jews from would go to those camps. And I'm not going to show you each one of them, but we'll just take Auschwitz, for instance, here. The top number, that's 60,300, signifies how many Jews were sent from this camp to Auschwitz. And then you'll see here this number of 56,500. Those are the numbers that were actually killed in Auschwitz. All right, so these here are the types of trains that were used to transport the Jews from Westerbork to different camps. And so there'd be like 93 of these. And what they said is there'll be like anywhere from 50, 60 individuals placed inside of here. But that number could also go up to at least 100. So just imagine, picture it with me again. What they would do is they would line up the Jews standing outside the cars, and then they would start calling their names. And as their names were called, they ended up having to go on here, the destinations that they didn't know anything about. So here in this location here is where the barracks number 35 uh, was situated. And while out here, you're going to be able to see a video on that screen right there, but I'm not going to show it to you. I'm pretty sure I can't. What's interesting, or what's kind of sad, is that you'll see the women out there exercising, dancing, kind of playing games, really passing the time, probably, and obviously never really knowing what is to become their fate.
Um, this right here is the area within Camp Westerbork, and it's even a prison within a prison that people who were in hiding from would be sent. And Anne Frank was sent here. Um, the barracks are no longer there, but they raised the ground so you could see the size of them. And she was in barrack 67 before being sent to Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen, yeah.
All right, this here is a monument that was built, and if you see these, the tracks they're not original. It's part of a monument that was built here. They're reaching up into the sky, but what you'll notice really is that you'll have these darker colored stones on the inside, which represents the persecuted Jews, and then outside here you have more of the white colored stones, which really represents those who just sort of stood by and let it happen. And here we're getting ready to enter into barracks 56, and all I'm going to say all of it. Obviously, there's some metal poles here that are not original, but all this here they said is original. So just think about that for a sec. The people that may have touched this wall or been in this barracks, walked in and out of this door here. I mean, wow, that's chilling. Now, I wish we can get an aerial view of this, but I'll just tell you real quick. This area here is called Roll Call Square, where the prisoners would have to come in for roll call. But what gets me is that these red bricks here, there's 102,000 of them, representing each person that came through this camp. And every 5 years, they would call off all the names. And what it said is takes 5 days and 5 nights to call all 102,000 of these names. And then you can see the different colors between the lighter papers here, the darker papers in there. And I guess the darker papers gives you an outline of Netherlands itself. Inside this room here, you're going to see a name, a face, and a story. The story of mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, grandmothers, and grandfathers. Those that have passed through Westerbork during World War II. All right, what you see before you right now is a display of buttons, and I'll zoom in here in just a second. But this display here was really inspired by something similar that was done in Melbourne, Australia, at the Melbourne Holocaust Museum. These buttons here represent 1.5 million children that died during the Holocaust. Okay. This is understanding that the 6 million Jews that died during the Holocaust, just think of this, 25% of them were children. 25%. This is the entrance into the museum. So inside the museum part after we walk through the camp itself, you're going to be able to see a lot of photos. You're going to see original luggage pieces. All the audio is not in English, but what you can do is you can pull these out, and then you can read the stories. But it's just fascinating. You just look at the things that they brought with them when they were brought into the camp. And see them having to exercise out in the field, musical instruments that were found, and what the barracks look like. If you were here, I think we sort of showed you that a little bit, barracks 56, and some of the pieces that were left over. And here is a shot of what the camp looked like and the size of it. Then you're going to see the map of that. You can see Westerbork, where we are right now, and then the several different camps that they were sent to from here: Ravensbrück, Bergen-Belsen, Buchwald, Theresienstadt, and Auschwitz, and Sobibor. And then some of the original panels. Wow. So in this room here, it is called the Hall of Names, and it represents every single individual, over 100,000 people, Jews, that were in this concentration camp. The names are so small you can barely read it, but I'll try to zoom in here. Now it's time to try to find her name, Anneliese Marie Frank. And here we found Anne Frank, or Anneliese Marie Frank. So as we started, this place tells a story. It is a story. I mean, it's a name, it's a face, and it's a story. This is Westerbork. All right, so really, how do you end a video like this? I'll tell you that it's sobering. Walking through here, understanding that originally this place was set up as a place of hope, where the Jews could come and try to escape the terror that the Nazis were imposing upon their people. And then this place became a terror in and of itself. I hope you learned a little something about this place. Well, we hope you can subscribe to our channel. And as always, keep dreaming and travel safe.